Hey guys, this is Introducing Emmy, and we're back with another Redline Tuesday. This one is from Missy Rocks 394 on YouTube, that is. So there you go, Missy Rocks. And we're doing a girly in a dress. Let me lock my layer. I hope you can all still see that. Let's do that. How about? There we go. Okay. So, and the original drawing was like here and here. I've just given us some more canvas room to work. It's so funny, you know, I'm actually working on a commission that is kind of a similar pose and everything. Similar dress and stuff. I mean, there's no way that like either of us saw each other's work and we're like copying it, or so it's just kind of a funny coincidence. I'm drawing a woman in a ball gown-y dress. It's actually a wedding dress, but all right. You know what? I am actually going to keep this pretty much where I had it just so I can see what I'm doing a little easier. So the forearm needs to be shortened to match this one, and actually you have a very stylishly slim pinch that I'm going to try to mimic. I have to admit, sometimes when I do these red lines, there's certain things about a person's style that they're comfortable with doing that I'm not. And I will try to fix it if I can help it, you know. But like this is not a bad thing, like having a wrist or an arm shaped like that. It's just I'm not used to doing it, so it makes me want to cry. Oh, that dog of mine. Gosh, go lay down, Shiloh. She is a pip and a half. So I have a lot of new subscribers. I'm almost to 4,000 subscribers, which is like wild. Did she find another bone? Lay down. Go lay down. Come on. She's being a big old pout dog now. I just took her bone from her, and so I could record without, you know, a dog chewing in the background, and she's not happy with me. Anyway, so yeah, I have a lot of new subscribers, and a lot of them keep asking, what's a Redline Tuesday? What's this all about? So, I'm actually not sure where the whole concept of redlining came from, but I remember like 7-8 years ago people were doing it. I guess it's kind of like when the teacher marks your test with a pen. I'm just drawing some plumb lines here. But basically, you can send me your red lines or drawings that you want me to go over through emmy.bittner@introducingemy.com. Don't worry, the email address is on my front page. Like if you go to youtube.com/user-introducingemy, it's right up at the top where it says send me a Redline Tuesday. Trust me, I need more. I'm starting to run out. I'm running low. So and then what I can do is I can go over your anatomy and stuff. Now, I am not a wizard amongst wizards when it comes to anatomy, but I've always felt like I've had strong anatomical sense, and you know, if I can help yins out, I will. Put all that collagen to good use. Collagen. I meant like college, ing, not like collagen, like the stuff they inject in your lips. Oh. Welcome to my nightmare. So that's what we're just doing here. We are just going over some anatomies. So, when I saw this drawing, first off, I think she's too short. Not like, you know, short, like, I don't know her in person. She might be 2 feet tall. And that is not too short. But, I think, like, her feet might be showing. So, I've gone ahead and drawn a plumb line from her neck down to about where I think you should be able to see her feet. And then we're just going to fluff it. Put like a toe here. And a toe here. Not wanting that, you could just extend the dress further. But I really think you could just get away with like kind of... She'd have a knee there and her calf, and then she'd have a knee there and her calf. So something like that. That's about where her feet would be. I'm not like gunning to the moon on where her feet would be exactly, but I do think you'd be able to see them a little bit under the skirt. I just think that having them completely hidden shortens her whole lower body, like her legs up, and it's kind of awkward. But, you know... Like I always say, I'm not coming to your house. I'm not going to be like, fix it! Also, did you use, I gotta get a little closer here. Did you use, Illustrator to ink this? Or the pen tool? In Photoshop? I can tell. Not that that's a bad thing, I'm just saying I can tell. I'm good. Okay, so collarbone placement, we draw a V, like that. That wraps around the back of the neck, kind of like a necklace that's really high. And then from about there down, and that is where our collarbone lies. I'm going to flip it because I've been staring at it from this angle to... Okay. Everything's very leany now, I can see. Don't worry, I can fix it. It's no big deal. So, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select this. I'm going to say... Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to duplicate... the original and lock it. So, okay, good. So now that when we go over, I can... Okay. I have to get rid of some of this now because it's kind of throwing me off. She's not as straight up and down as I originally thought she was. See, this is why you flip a drawing. You get so comfortable, you know, when I'm setting these up, I'm just staring at the drawing the way it is, you know. So, it's always good to flip it around. Just do what I do, scribble. Okay, so this dark red area there is what we've gone over before, where so your face basically sits on a well, not a flat, but as flat as the human body gets. Has more of like a double curve, and then on this side is another flat section, which is the side of your skull. Skulls are like... Oh my gosh, this dog, she's just complaining. So, skulls are pretty flat on the sides. They're kind of like an orange if you took the slices off the side. So if you went boop, Boop. And put some ears on there. It's basically, that's a pretty narrow human head, but they're pretty flat on the sides. A lot of times what you'll see is this part in the back will sort of like slightly curve out. There's your eye socket. So you'll have like a slight curve coming out in the back, but it's still pretty straight on the sides. So that's what this is over here. And in cartoony characters or anime characters, we simplify that even more, but we don't get rid of it completely because, and don't worry, I'm not like yelling at you, Missy Rocks. I'm just saying in general, we don't completely get rid of it because even in an animated or a cartoon or an anime character or a video game character, it can totally throw off your anatomies. So, boom. And in saying that, I think her ear is just kind of like, it looks kind of like it's on her cheek a little bit. So, remember, ears fall between the nose and the brow line. So her ear would actually be more like up here. And because of perspective, you can set it a little lower if you think it looks better. I do that a lot. Or I draw characters who don't have ears, so I don't have to worry about it. So, so I'm sort of doing this by erasing away at her face, but or at my own lines. So, okay. And then this will help us establish how much of this is sort of the eye socket area on this character. Now, unlike humans, basically our entire eye socket is taken up by muscles, the eyeball, and then the skin on the outside, so like our eyelids, as some people would call them. But in cartoon characters, you don't have to do that. I have lots of characters that I've designed that, you know, they have like these giant eye sockets, but only a very small section is actually taken up by that. And that's just the beauty of design and doing whatever the hell you want. So, and this character is sort of similar in that her whole eyeball does not, or her eyeball doesn't take up the whole eye socket. Okay. I'm gonna get back to that real quick. I just realized her lips are a little off. I'm just gonna fix it. So, schmoopy lip one, and then schmoopy lip two. And then I think I can just they seem to be over ever so slightly. This point needs to line up with the middle of the nose. Okay, so let's do eyeball number one. So this whole section would be eye socket because we need to have some place that the whole eyeball can fit comfortably. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of some of my excess guidelines so that you can see like what I'm... You don't have to draw tear ducts if you don't want to. That's, again, that's more of like my own preference. So, by drawing this eye, I can see that this one is a little like high or stretched or something's going on here, and I'm not sure what. But, I actually just need to turn yours off for just a second. Sorry. Okay. Okay, one thing I think is it's sitting too far out, so it would need to come in just a little closer, because you can see how close this eye is to the inside of the... It's not the bridge of your nose. I guess it would just be the inside of that socket area that lines up with the nose. So, similarly, you would also need to move this eye in just a teensy tiny teensy bit. And where am I? Okay, there we go. So yeah, I would just move that in a little bit. Hair is fine, I'm not going to worry about the hair. So be careful when you're drawing the lines for your fingers, because then you end up getting little tiny pointy fingers and then fingers with a wider tip. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you draw sort of like, if you're going to do it like this, if you're going to do like a more realistic hand, don't do it like this because you'll get all messed up. But so you're going to want to remember you have 1, 2, 3, 4 knuckles, okay? And I'm actually going to turn the canvas so we can see a little easier. And I prefer to start with the pinky or whatever finger's on the outside. And you're going to draw your first line, and then you're going to go about the same distance over and draw your next line. Now, if you get a little area where you feel, oops, I made that too wide, you can either move this line back over, or you can put a little mark in there, and that kind of implies that the fingers are kind of open near the knuckle, you know, like that would be like where your crease is. And some people actually do have a little bit of a gap there. So that just shows that the fingers are kind of spaced and overlapping each other. That dog, oh mine. And same thing here. So now here I've gone and over curved this, but we can fix this a few different ways. We can either have a finger depart from its pals like that, or you can draw the finger bent. So how you choose to finish these fingers, and I mean like add jewelry and fingernails and round the tips and all that. That's up to you, but see, yeah, like that finger, the end of the middle finger is a little too wide. So there we go. So just, and also usually people don't, you know, like glue their fingers together like that and just like hurt and like hold a fan. Sorry, I'm losing my voice or something. It seems like every time I record a Redline Tuesday, my voice starts to go. But anyway, people don't like palm fans. You know what I mean? They're like, you're like, look, crab grip. So I'm sorry. I'm not picking on you or making fun of you. I'm just saying. Now, her hands are pretty small. I'm gonna let them be because I think that's what you're going for. And let's see if I can draw an equally small hand. And not like overcorrect myself. Get rid of all this. Get rid of this. Okay. So actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be sneaky like I always am. Hee hee hee. Then we take this and go boop. I think it's the right. Let me step back and look at the two hands together. Yeah. I think that looks good. So, I think that this palm looks fine, like the length of the palm. It's like a very, very subtle thing, the palm length. And if you get it too long, you start getting into like ape territory. Because this is the one thing that really sets us apart is chimps and great apes have like a lot longer palms than us for whatever reason. So yeah. I remember I was reading, I don't remember what it was or something, but it was like a review of some comic artist's comic art, and the reviewer was like, oh, he just draws his palms way too long, you know, it drives me crazy, these long palms. And I remember I looked at the art and I thought, really, they're long, you know? And then I actually had to do some research, and I was like, huh, you know, and it was like the first time anybody had ever sort of pointed it out to me. I also want to check the length of these arms. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They need to be just a little bit shorter. Also, when you hear me sigh, I'm not like exasperated. I'm not like, oh, jeez, you know. If I'm exasperated with anybody, it's myself. Okay, so there we go. I like it. Let me get rid of some of these. Excess lines. I feel like I'm so sloppy in my red lines. I am going to go over the dress a little bit, and it's not, don't worry, you're fine. You draw, these are like some of my favorite types of wrinkles to draw. I'm mostly just going to go over it for the viewers at home. So, okay, let's, okay, so look at the skull stuff one last time. Rewind your video if you need to look at it again, because it's going away. Goodbye. Okay, so let's do a different color to work on the dress. Let's pick a purple. How does that look? That looks fine. Okie dokie, and I'm actually gonna turn down my red line just a little bit so I can see everything that's going on. I don't know if you could hear my cats down there. So now that I've moved the hand up, the tension point on the dress is going to change. So it's going to come from here. So I've moved it. And like I said earlier, I would extend the dress lower because one, she's gathering a lot of material, so it probably would be a little bit lower, and two, to hide her footies. I've heard a lot of opera singers perform in their bare feet because it's easier for them to breathe and to sing. And if they're not in their bare feet, they're in flat shoes. But because it's seen as, especially when they're playing like very like feminine, ladylike characters who would normally wear high heels, what they do is they just extend the dresses lower so you can't see that they're in their bare feet. And I've heard that. I know at least one opera singer does it, but I don't know about any others. And I can imagine performing all day long on stage, you know. It would be very uncomfortable to like always be in pumps like all day long. So this kind of abruptly ends. I think I would extend that a little more. So you have sort of like this tapering wave into the dress. Yeah. Okay. So real quick for everybody at home, so that because I'm just kind of doing stuff and not explaining. So when you want to do like whooshy fabric, I don't know what the technical term is, but like where it drapes like this, what I like to do is, okay, so like let's pretend like we're doing this part here. So this is the top of her arm, like we've just taken a slice out of it, and that's what the top of her arm looks like. And then from here, what we do is sort of a cone to give us our shape, and then yeah, let's just change it up here so that we'll have some fun with it. Okay, and then this is like generally how it drapes. Okay, like in our pretend drawing. And make sure everything is nice and round and matches up. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go wild. So you're gonna want to draw. Hey, I changed my color. Where's my color? Okay, there it is. You're gonna want to draw this kind of a thing. Okay? And then like when you're on the telephone and you do that, like you doodle on a notepad while you're talking to somebody, that's what you're gonna want to do, but you're gonna want to do it in perspective, which is why we kind of set ourselves up with a nice cone to follow. So don't worry if you mess this up. It's fabric. So like right in here, I was like, uh-oh, where do I go? Where do I go? So like all I'm going to do is just erase that. Okay, so now we've drawn this in perspective. It kind of looks like a sea sponge or some other aquatic life form. Okay, and then what we're going to do, I sounded very Canadian for a second. Now what we're going to do is just draw lines. Back up to like where the fabric would be bundled, like in the stitching or what have you. Okay, and that's basically how you do this. Now, I've really like overdone it. I was just like, woo, you know, but depending on like how much or how subtle you do this, you'll get a different effect. So that's basically how you do this. And you're just going to want to look for areas where the fabric, you're going to be able to see like the edge of it a little bit. I'm making it darker just so that you can, you know, see inside precisely where I'm coloring. So, yeah, like all in here, you'd want to do that. I kind of noticed, so this underskirt area, if you follow the line, it comes up here and then it just stops. So it's like a single piece of fabric. You would actually want to make sure that you I'm confusing myself. Hold on one second. This can be confusing. So, and then join with this, then come back around. So that you make sure you have still like a skirt underneath, because it is like a second skirt. This dog makes one more noise, I'm gonna smack her in the titty. She's frustrated with me. Took her precious bone away. So yeah, just to make sure that, because like in here it's just like a single piece of fabric. So you just want to make sure that it's kind of continuing all through there. Also, it's cool looking. Like when you get it all done, you're like, woo, look at all that. You don't have to get quite as funky as I do with it. I really like drawing that kind of a shape when I do my fabric. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Same kind of thing was done here on the fan, you know. You can do that for like all kinds of things. You know, you can do like, hell, this is probably a good exercise. So do something like that, you know, scribble and then draw it as though it was like a piece of fabric or like stiff paper that's been folded. But what you want to make sure is that you're always traveling towards a gather point. So like this would all be like gathered like down here by something. There, I'll just put that there to make me happy. So like that. Because like if you're just like do like that, and then you're like, I'm gonna go that way, and I'll go this way, and I'll go this way, and maybe that way again. You can do this. It's more complicated, but you're gonna have a lot more to answer for down here, if you get what I'm saying. So like, you're gonna have to guess what a lot of these wrinkles are down here, like how the fabric would actually lay. This would be like okay if you were doing kind of like an open sack maybe, or something where there's not like a lot of tension and gravity is kind of like forcing this down because it's sort of like bunching at the corners. You kind of get what I'm saying here? Do you feel me is what I'm trying to say. I always worry that I'm just like saying all this random shit and you guys are just like, what? A sack? Where? Like, gravity? Where am I? Like, you just woke up in a dumpster outside my Redline Tuesday, apparently. But, so yeah, you're gonna have a lot more to answer for down here. Whereas when you're just starting, you might want to just do like all to a similar area, you know, until you really start to like get it and you're like, oh, see, like I I just did it in random directions, and I was still kind of able to save it down here. I was like, oh, it's a sack. But when you're first starting, it might not be such a great idea to not go towards a central tension point. Same thing here. Let me just back out a little bit. So like here would be your tension point, you know, so you want everything to wave and then gather up to there. Same thing down here, everything's waving and gathering in that direction. I actually didn't do that. These should be going in a little bit more, these like lines that I did there. And again with her skirt is also another tension gathering point. So you're going to have a little bit of conflict, and that's okay. That kind of happens, you know, in real life. So you're going to get kind of like interesting little like buckles, deep pockets where the fabric is like fighting against two areas pulling. So that's kind of like why I do some of these. Give some of that and some of that. Okay. So, oh, and we should compare and contrast. Let me flip around to the way it was. Oh, I see one thing I want to fix. I am just going to put this all together for now. I'm thinking the back of her head's kind of caving in. This is more me than you. Okay, sorry, little tangent there. And let me, okay. So, let's put mine in a folder and then we will compare and contrast. So, Redline. Okay, so let's step back. Not that far. Let's go to like 32, I guess. Anyway, so this is ours. Ignore all this. And this is what we... Oh, help if it was there. So I think I've made her one eyebrow a little too, like... Or like it's changed her expression quite a bit. I've kind of given her a DreamWorks face. Let me get rid of this and make it more like this. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I did twist it, but it was just to sort of straighten her up a little bit more. I hope that works. Like, I hope I didn't completely... Sorry, I'm just checking her arms and her hands. Okay. Yeah. I think it works. I like it. I like where this is going. Okay, so let's thank Miss Missy Rocks at 394, which you can't even really see anymore. I'll just put it right there. Okay, so let's thank her, also known as Erica. I hope I'm allowed to say her first name. Her first name is Erica. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Alright, bye!